We're on. Hello. Out there in Cyberville. Sawyer. Johnny. Not Laura. Julia. I think Laura's in. That's why I was getting confused. Her mom's name, I think, is Laura. Sawyer, Johnny, and Julia out there in cyberspace. Real quick announcement. I just did attendance here at Heartland. I've been worried about keeping the video on for the whole 40 minutes of class. That doesn't really seem to make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording when I'm done with the lesson, because usually how it works is I do the lesson when I've taken all the questions, I like to give the kids time to do the work, get as much as they can done in class so they're not overloaded with homework. Middle school can be a tough homework patch for students here, so I try to make it so they can get as much done in class. So I'm going to stop the video when I've done the lesson and taken some questions for you people out there in cyberspace. Yes? 10:30? Okay. So, new lesson today, not in the textbook yet. Yay, I'll give you the textbook tomorrow, so you'll be able to get it covered over the long weekend and bring it back covered on Tuesday. Another thing is we're actually waiting for as many more better condition textbooks to come in. You may have heard through the grapevine that the pre-algebra textbooks are getting worse and worse every year. I'm hoping to get new ones next year, but that doesn't mean anything to you because you got pre-algebra this year. So the more better condition ones we can get in, the better it'll be for you. Casey? You can cover them with, you mean like those stretchy things? Yeah. Why? Are there teachers that don't like that?
Yeah. There's just like a couple.
I think there's some textbooks that are larger.
Yeah.
So then the stretchy things kind of pull and it starts pulling at the binding. And I don't think these are overly sized. I mean, they're thick, but they're not wide. Does that make sense? Okay, start you off. You need a piece of paper. I've got 5 problems on the board. Go. I will collect those. Just hold on now because now I'm getting started on this. Everybody see okay? 6 times 2 minus 1, 2 plus 7 times 4, 12 times 3 minus 5, 7 times the quantity of 4 minus 1 plus 1, and then 6 with a little 2 up to the right. Wonder what that means. Plus, parentheses, the quantity of 3 plus 9 times 8. Just 5 simple problems. See what we get. Mom always said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I can't wait to see what we get. You done already, Z?
No.
Oh, you're just waiting for the answers?
No.
Yes.
I was doing them in my head, making sure that I got it right. So,
How about we do this? How about we write down 6 times 2 minus 1 equals, and then put the answer on paper? Because guess what will happen to your hand if you do that? Hand's not going to fall off. No blisters. Just right. You're done with all 5 already?
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are fast. Spence, you're done with all 5? Spence, you didn't write the problems down. Go ahead and write them down. Not just the answers. See, Z, Spence was on your wavelength there. He's just trying to do it in his head and do the answers. I want you to write the problems down. There's a reason I want you to have the problems written on your notebook paper, because here's what's going to happen. At least I think what's going to happen. You all think you know the answers, but I got a feeling that you're not all going to have the same answers. We'll see. Maybe you'll amaze me. About another minute, because they're not large numbers, so it really shouldn't take that long, but just check. Just checking? Checking's good. And if you have time, Jonathan, what should you do? Check it twice. And Jonathan, if you have even more time, you should check it
3 times.
No, that's not what Mr.
Right.
Frank means.
Right.
Right. Come on, bring back the 5th grade memories. David, you done?
Yes.
All right. Anybody need more time?
No.
5 problems. Numbers aren't real large. Here we go. Answer to the one at the top. 6 times 2 minus 1. Anybody want to give me an answer? Evelyn, what'd you get?
11.
11. Did anybody else get 11? Anybody else get something besides 11? Next one. 2 plus 7 times 4. Sid. Anybody get 36? Anybody get something besides 36? What'd you get?
30.
Anybody get something besides 30? So the 2 answers out there are 36 and 30. Going once, twice, gone. Next one. 12 times 3 minus 5. Bella.
31.
31. Anybody else get 31? Anybody get something besides 31? Next one. 7 times, parentheses, 4 minus 1, plus 1. Dom.
22.
22. Did anybody else get 22? Did anybody get something besides 22? 23?
Never mind.
Any other answers besides 22, 23? And the last one. 6, with a little 2 up to the right of it, plus, parentheses, the quantity of 3 plus 9, times 8. Seth.
384.
Seth got 384. Did anybody else get 384? Did anybody get something besides 384? What'd you get, Kim? 288? Did anybody get something besides 384 or 288? Kiara,
183.
did anybody get something besides 384, 288, or 183? Jordy,
132. Oh, wow.
did anyone get something besides 384, 288, 183, or 132? Jaden, 376? Did anybody get something besides one of those 5 answers to that problem? Case.
540. Why don't you just tell us the answer?
Did I tell you beforehand that I'm thinking we're not all going to have the same answers? Somebody got something besides one of these 6? Bella.
356.
Hi, Mrs. Vogel. Obviously, you see what we're doing. We've got, seems like maybe a simple math problem, but getting all these different answers. Isn't math precise? Isn't math the language of science? It's got to be exactly right.
Oh, that one.
Who thinks all 6 of these answers could be correct?
No.
No. What?
We have another answer? Sid. I'm sorry. Pause. Time out. 1 second. Did you need
I
me?
just wanted to know when I could talk to you about a schedule thing. Do you have like lunch right after?
10:50,
Okay, all right.
Or
I'll try to pop in then.
11:10, one of those 2.
10:50 or 11:10.
Thanks. All right. Seriously, is there any more?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Noel.
192.
Noel has one.
288.
Noel.
Noel.
162.
I really didn't know if I was going to run out of room here. 162. Everybody in here has one of these answers.
Yes.
Elise.
424.
424. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 different answers. These numbers aren't very big. 11 different answers to one math problem. I just asked a second ago, is it possible that there could be 11 different answers? And most of you said, no, that's not possible. There's got to be one answer, right? Math is a universal language. It's the language of science. So as we try to achieve more knowledge about the world, math is the language we use, and it's universal. So if you're in China or Australia or Bolivia or Russia or Alaska up there in the United States or Greenland or down in the Antarctic doing some science project, the math doesn't change. It's universal. So there's one answer to all of these problems. Now, we have two problems up here that everybody got the same answer. That gives me confidence that that might be the right answer, but we have to see. Are you ready for the right answers?
Yeah.
6 times 2 minus 1, ding, ding, the answer is 11. So if you got 11, give yourself a little pat on the back. You're 1 for 1. The answer to the second one, 2 plus 7 times 4, the answer is
36.
30.
36.
30. Right?
Oh, I get it.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, third one. The answer to 12 times 3 minus 5, y'all gave me one answer, and it is correct. Fourth one down. 7 times the quantity, parentheses, quantity of 4 minus 1 plus 1. The answer is 22. There was only one other answer, and I got a feeling the person that got that answer just made a slight little arithmetic error. I think the process was probably right. Okay? And now we get to we've got 11 possibilities.
I know it.
It's not
Wait.
any of those.
Please.
You did.
If I look at all 11 possibilities,
Wait, what's the answer? You did all correct.
there is a correct answer up there.
Please.
It's not 384.
Yeah.
It's not 288. It's not 183.
It's
No,
190.
It's not 376.
Yeah.
It's not, ding, ding, ding.
What?
The answer is 132.
Wow. Then.
Okay, the purpose behind today's lesson is so far this week, we're getting reacquainted with math. We did some fractions. We did some decimals. We did some speed. We did a speed drill, which is basic arithmetic. Then you did another worksheet yesterday, which I'll get later, basic arithmetic. And now, one of the other basics of math is when you have more than one step to do, there has to be a procedure, a process that universally everyone has to follow. Because when you've got more than one operation to do, if, say in this case, if you all decided to do things differently, you'd get 11 different answers at least. And there's, 26 kids in here. That means almost every other one of you had a different answer. Well, that can't do in math. Math is precise, right? So only one of these answers can be correct. And this is the one that's correct. Who's heard of this before?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you always
Okay? Now, some people these days call it GEMDAs. They put a G here because instead of just parentheses, there's a possibility that in a math problem, you could have parentheses and then that could be surrounded by brackets. So some people say, technically it's not P, it could be a G because it's grouping. So if in another book or in another place or you're like, you know what, I didn't quite understand what Mr. Franklin was saying. I don't quite understand what the book was saying. I'm going to go on the internet and find somewhere because, listen, that's what the internet's for, not just playing games. I'm perfectly okay as your teacher. My goal is for you to learn it. So if I'm saying it and you're not quite getting it and the book's showing the examples, you're not quite getting it, You think I would be offended if you went online on YouTube or something and found some other teacher or tutor out there that said it to you a different way and you got it? Why would I be offended? The whole point is for you to get it. So you might find someone that says it's GEMDAS. It's the same thing. It's just that they're saying it's parentheses and brackets, because you can have brackets around parentheses if it's a really long problem. You also might see this. They might get rid of the D, because some people are worried that kids get confused when you say, no, I gotta use that. Yes, Spence.
I gotta go.
Okay, go ahead. When you say multiply and divide, add and subtract, some kids think it means multiply before you divide, add before you subtract, but I'm going to help you break that down. First of all, we got to let you know, and just in case you don't know, what these words stand for. Did you know this was parentheses?
Yes.
Nope.
I'm questioning myself spelling because I'm going down. Parentheses. What's the E for? Exponents. Did any of the problems we did today have exponents?
Yes.
This one here, right? What was the exponent? That? The 2 there, right? What's the M? Multiply. I'm writing sloppy because I think if I say multiply and you see what I'm writing, you're like, that must be multiply. What's the D for, Seth? Divide. What's the A for? Add. What's the S for? Subtract. Okay. These are called order of, and it has to do with arithmetic operations. Is that a big phrase? Arithmetic. Say arithmetic operations. Do you sound smarter for saying that? I mean, do you feel smarter for saying that? Arithmetic operations. What are the 4 arithmetic operations?
Oh, yeah.
What are the 4 arithmetic operations? Add, subtract, multiply.
Five.
Thanks, guys. Multiply and divide. So there has to be a procedure, a correct way. If you have more than one operation going on, we all have to be on the same page. Again, this is math. It has to be right. It has to be precise. You can't have the people in Ohio deciding to do it one way and the people in California deciding to do it another way. Would that make any sense?
No.
Or how about this? How about this? We're going to build, did I bring this up yesterday about the earthquake, the superstructure?
Yeah.
How about this? We're going to build that superstructure out there near San Francisco. It's got to withstand the earthquake, right? Well, I got this guy who's been educated at one college and this girl who's been educated at another college, and they both learned 2 different ways, procedures for figuring out problems that have multiple operations going on, and they're going to work together to build a skyscraper that can withstand an 8-point earthquake.
Oh, gosh.
It's probably not going to work, is it?
No.
No. So you all got to be on the same page. So this is the order of operations. The first thing you do is, are there any parentheses? Any parentheses?
No.
Up here.
No.
Take the first one, top one. No parentheses. Are there any exponents in the top one? Okay, so we get rid of that. Now, we're going to multiply and divide as we go left to right. Then we're going to go back, add and subtract. I wrote under there earlier PEMAS. Some people got rid of the D because they're worried some kids get confused. Oh, you mean I multiply before I divide? No. Look at multiplication and division as the same thing. So as I go left to right, as soon as I see a multiplication sign or a division sign, I do those things first as they come. Then I go back, and as I see addition and subtraction signs, I do those as they come, left to right. So, what do I do first? Multiply or subtract? Multiply. So I got to do the 6 times 2 first, then minus 1. That's how we got 11. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Now I started you with, obviously, the easiest one. It followed the order of operations, and it was just left to right, doing it in order. You didn't even have to know the rules. You're like, oh, 6 times 2 minus 1. What if I would have written 6 minus 1 times 2? Then you would have to know the order of operations, because if you would have tried to do 6 minus 1 times 2 in that order, you would have got 10. It's not the right answer, right? Well, it's not the same problem, but anyway. Or 6, All right, next one. Next one got a little more difficult because I didn't put the multiplication first. But you did pretty well. We only had 2 different answers. You did multiplication first, even though it didn't come first. You knew you had to do that first. So you did 7 times 4. Then you went back and you added 2 plus 28. 30. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Third one. Back to nice and in order. Multiply first before you subtract. What's 12 times 3? Minus 5? Again, you all got that one because it was nice and in order for you. Next one. Are there any parentheses?
Yeah.
What do you do first?
Parentheses.
So if I was writing on my paper, I would go like this. 7 times 3 plus 1. Everybody see that? I rewrote that by doing the parentheses first. 4 minus 1. Took care of that first. Now, are there any exponents? No. Any multiplication or division?
Yes.
So I got to do the multiplication first. 7 times 3 plus 1. You all did very well on that. And then we came to this guy. And we got at least, as far as I got from you, 11 different answers. Start at the beginning. Are there any parentheses?
Yes.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. 6. By the way, does anybody know how you say that with the little 2 above it? Raise your hand. Squared. 6 squared plus, first thing I got to do is handle these parentheses. What is 3 plus 9z?
12.
Z. 12 times 8. All I did was follow my order of operations. I got rid of the parentheses. I got a new problem here. Now, are there any exponents?
Yes.
6 squared. Isaac, what is 6 squared? If it was just 6 times 2, they would have written 6 times 2. It must be different than 6 times 2. What does it mean, that little 2 above? 6 times 6 is?
36.
So I'm going to write 36 plus 12 times 8. You with me? If you're not with me, raise your hand and say, whoa, what'd you just do? Nobody's got their hand up. Everybody's following this?
Yes.
I did parentheses first, made that a 12. I did exponent, made that 36. Now, multiply and divide first. I go left to right. There's an addition sign and a multiplication sign. What do I have to do first? I have to multiply first. So, let me see. Did anybody get an answer of 384? Is 384 up there anywhere?
Yeah, it's first one.
You know why somebody got 384? Because they did 36 plus 12, 48, times 8. And they thought, of course the answer is 384. Because they just did it in order. Contraire, mon frère, you have to do multiplication first, David. Got it? So 12 times 8, 96. What's 36 plus 96? 132. I hope that doesn't look too muddled on the board for you out there in homeschool land. Is everybody, you know what I just remembered? That I didn't go get the copies that I sent to the copier this morning.
I'll go get them.
So, everybody understand what's going on? So I know I took a lot of your time, but it's a short worksheet today. I'll be uploading that to you in homeschool land. There's only like 10 problems following your order of operations. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be getting with you in homeschool land later. I'm going to try to set up a Google Classroom. Thank you for your patience.